ever wondered how many voices quietly live within you? Have you ever stopped to think if your fears truly belong to you, or if you inherited them from ghosts that never found rest? And what if I told you that while you pretend to be in control, there is an ancient, shadowy force shaping every one of your sighs? Until you bring the unconscious into awareness, it will guide your life, and you will call it fate. No matter how rational, successful, or enlightened you think you are, behind every decision, impulse, or doubt lies a living labyrinth, a web of unchallenged fears and repressed desires. That labyrinth watches you, gently mocking you, as you live under the illusion of control. You walk with conviction. You think you know yourself, but deep within, something ancient slumbers. A leviathan, a symbol of everything hidden. Versions of yourself you silenced to fit in. It's not a monster, it's your shadow, formed by what you never allowed yourself to feel, by what you entered to be accepted. And today, you are invited not to destroy it, but to see it, to cross the mirror you always avoided, because there dwells not only fear, but also power. That whisper you feel in the silences doesn't want you to change. It wants you to remember, to return to the parts of yourself you hid, the rage, the tenderness, the creativity, the pain, the child, the warrior, the lover. This isn't a call to be someone else. It's a call to be whole. Because true freedom isn't the absence of fear, but rather deciding, without fear, ruling you. It's living with an open heart, without acting, without running, without pretending. It's stopping surviving, and finally, starting to live. Carl Jung used to say, the worst prison is the one no one sees, and that's exactly where you live. Look at your routine. How many choices were truly yours? How many fears were passed down through voices from the past? How many loves did you sabotage because your mind needed to prove you weren't worthy of being loved? You're not in control of any of that. Your unconscious is the one pulling the strings. While you work, smile, kiss, make promises, something behind your gaze moves your hands like you're a puppet. It's a hungry ghost. It feeds on everything you suppress just to be accepted. On the screams swallowed in childhood, on the guilt buried in adolescence, on the desires murdered in the name of a reputation. Jung called it the shadow. But before you get there, you need to accept a simple truth. You are not who you think you are. The person you display online, the one who meets deadlines, smiles in pictures, that's only the surface. A social mask, hiding a wild territory. Within that hidden territory live your rage, your jealousy, your childish pride, even fantasies you dare not admit. That's why you repeat cycles, cling to what hurts, and stumble over the same mistakes. Because the script isn't in your conscious mind. It's written in the shadows. Many won't bear to hear this. It's easier to blame fate, family, the government, even God. More comfortable to say, that's just the way I am, even if that I is just a poorly rehearsed role. Scratch the surface, and chaos appears. And deep down, a part of you knows it. That's why you run away. That's why you fill yourself with distractions. That's why silence scares you more than noise. Jung understood that fear. He knew that facing the monster demands the courage of someone who'd rather die unknown than be reborn, torn apart from within. Do you think you control your fits of rage, your impulses, your shame? You don't. These demons are older than your last name. They're ancient. They live in the collective unconscious that breathes through each of us. To ignore this is to sleepwalk through life. And someone who sleeps doesn't choose, only repeats. They think they're free, while calling destiny what is actually psychic programming. Look at your choices. How many would you make if you didn't need to please, if you weren't afraid to lose, if you didn't carry that childhood fear of being rejected like a hidden wound? Breathe. Feel the lump rising in your throat. That's your mind trying to drown out what I'm telling you. But it's already too late. Once this truth is heard, it burns inside. No matter how many self-help books you stack on top, it stays. And it will grow. Jung didn't want to soothe you. He wanted to rip you open, so light could enter through the cracks. He wanted to show you that behind the mask lives hell, but also the key to escape it. Accepting this is the beginning. It's opening the basement door. It's breathing in the mold of those parts of yourself you buried in shame. Maybe it hurts. It will hurt, but there's no other way out. You're not who you think you are. You're much uglier, much more beautiful, much freer if you dare to face it. Take a deep breath. Look around. Everything binding you is inside, and so is the key. You tell yourself you're good, civilized, reasonable, polite, but deep down, you know that's not all you are. But deep down, you know that's not all you are. Behind the smile, a starving beast breathes. Carl Jung gave it a name, the shadow. The shadow isn't a pretty metaphor to post with uplifting quotes. It's real. It bites. It rules your urges when you pretend they don't exist. It's all the things you swept under the rug to be accepted. Anger, envy, greed, lust, cowardice, lies. As a child, you were taught feeling those was ugly, worse, that admitting them was unforgivable. So you learned to smile, to swallow it all, to repress it. But what's unseen rots. And what rots doesn't die. The shadow thrives in the dark, whispering commands while you sleep. How many times have you judged someone with secret hate? How many times have you wanted a friend to fail? How many times have you enjoyed a cruel piece of gossip? Do you think you're innocent? You're not. No one is. Jung wrote, "We all carry a shadow." The less it's integrated into our conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. You can deny it. Say, "I'm not like that." But denial leads to projection. You start seeing monsters outside because you can't bear to face the ones inside you. The envy you accuse others of is only a mirror of your own. The betrayal you fear so much is the whisper of your buried urge to betray. The cruelty you condemn in others is just the edge of your denied sadistic pleasure. You pretend to be in control, but with every burst of anger, every impulsive lie, every cheap excuse, the shadow laughs at you. It loves to wear the mask of morality. It makes you believe you're better than everyone else, and that illusion is its trap. The worst prisoner is the one who doesn't realize they're imprisoned. You think you're free because you think you're good, but goodness without a shadow doesn't exist. Whoever ignores their darkness lives under its rule. The shadow shows up in the relationships you destroy, in the chances you ruin, in the friendships you poison with jealousy disguised as care, in the laziness that stalls your purpose. You say, "This is just who I am. It's not my fault." But it is. You're responsible, because turning away from the shadow is a choice, and every choice comes with a cost. As long as you pretend not to see it, it directs your every step. Jung said, there's only one way. Face it. Smell the rot, feel the fire, call the monster by its name. Not to kill it, but to tame it. The shadow won't vanish, it must be embraced. When you accept your anger, it becomes strength. When you accept your envy, it transforms into healthy ambition. When you accept your lust, it becomes guiltless pleasure. But as long as you fake purity, you stay a captive, trapped in a rotting cycle of denial and outbursts. Want to stop suffering? Then go to the basement, turn on the light, speak with the thing you feared all your life. It's not pretty, not gentle, but it's human. Those who don't know their shadow are a danger to themselves and others. Those who do carry a loaded weapon, but know where to aim it. Jung never promised peace. He promised wholeness. And wholeness hurts more than goodness, but it's the only path to freedom. Now breathe. Smell the damp scent of your mental basement. It's always been there. But today, for the first time, you have the courage to enter. And I'm here, in the dark, waiting for you to finally face the monster you've been silently feeding. What is perfection? Just a disguise for pretending to be good. He looked deep into the abyss of the human soul and saw a brutal truth. You're not truly alive if you're still running from your own darkness. That's why he didn't invent a therapy to fix you. He carved a path meant to tear you apart. He called it individuation. To individuate isn't to become your best version. It's not about repeating shallow motivational quotes. It's not about manifesting abundance while smiling at yourself in the mirror. Individuation is the death of who you think you are and the birth of who you actually are. Sound poetic? It's not. It's a bloody birth, because it forces you to face all you've hidden from yourself. The ego shouts, "This is who I am. I know myself." But the psyche just laughs. You know nothing. Individuation means confronting every part you've denied, integrating your shadow, making peace with opposites, admitting that you are capable of love, yes, but also of hate, of courage, but also of cowardice. It's about no longer being a fragment, but becoming whole. Wholeness is not purity. It's the radical acceptance that within you live both angels and demons, and each one must have its rightful place. Those who refuse to do this live in constant conflict with themselves. They lash out at others. They destroy what they touch. They feel empty, even when surrounded by love. Jung said that individuation is like walking through a dark forest with no path. Each tree is an old trauma. Each shadow, a guilt you inherited. Each noise, a desire you wish you never felt. You'll get lost. You'll want to turn back. But there is no return for those who begin to see themselves naked. Most people quit. They pretend not to hear the forest calling. They return to the comfort of personality. They live on the surface, numb. But the ones who persist cross. And on the other side, they find something that can't be taken away. Integrity. Integrity is living without fear of contradiction. It's looking in the mirror and not feeling ashamed of the monster behind your eyes. It's being loyal to yourself, even when the world demands that you lie. Individuation isn't a diploma. It's not a permanent state. It's a process. It lasts a lifetime. It unfolds in crisis, in grief, in collapse, in endings that tear your flesh but set your soul free. Each loss tears off a piece of the ego and makes space for something real to grow. You don't need to rush, but you do need courage. The courage to sit still in the middle of the storm and say, "I accept this. I accept my anger. I accept my emptiness. I accept my fear of rejection. I accept that I can be kind, but also harsh, not to glorify it, but to stop lying to myself." This is rebirth. Not a miracle, but the result of daily effort. Those who dare to live this way lose the illusion of perfection, but gain something far more powerful, the freedom to be whole. It's not a path for everyone. Few can endure the pain of shedding the mask, but those who do will never live on their knees again. Just breathe and listen to what silence is trying to say. Deep within, your soul is whispering, "This is what I've always longed for." Jung understood this, and now, so do you. You say you want freedom. Freedom from fear, from your past, from those who hurt you. But freedom isn't a gift, it's a cost. Carl Jung always knew. Most people would rather live in chains than tear off their own skin. True freedom isn't about having no rules. It's about having no inner lies. As long as you pretend to be someone you're not, you live inside a disguised prison. As long as you blame others, you stay shackled to your wounds. As long as you pretend it doesn't hurt, you bleed in silence. Freedom isn't born of excuses. It begins the moment you choose to see what you've always hidden. When you stop pointing fingers. When you say, without masks, this is me too. You want to be free? Then stop running. No one runs from themselves forever. Eventually, the psyche collects, through crisis, through a breakdown, through a sudden illness. It's the soul knocking on the door you've spent your life avoiding. You can ignore it. Many people do. They go to doctors, take pills, do breathing exercises, smile for photos, but inside, they're still rotting. Because the pain doesn't come from the world. It comes from the illusion that we're only made of light, from believing everything must be controlled. Freedom begins when you sit in the prison of your fear and stare your monster right in the face. No excuses, no cliches, no desire to walk out as a victim. It's brutal, it's lonely, it's humiliating for the ego, but it's the only door that leads out. Whoever finds the strength to open that door pays a price. They lose their masks, they lose fake relationships, they lose the comfort of being a victim, they lose the illusion of control, but they gain the one thing no one can ever take away, the ownership of their soul. Do you know how many truly live like this? Very few. Most pretend, smile, go to therapy just to learn how to function again, and then go back to pretending. Jung didn't want you to be functional. He wanted you to be whole. He wanted you to be free. Free to bleed when it hurts, to scream when it's unjust, to love without needing permission. Freedom doesn't go hand in hand with fear. That's why so many trade it for comfortable chains. They call it stability. They call it routine. They call it, this is just who I am. But that's not who you are. You are far more than that. But to become who you truly are, you'll have to kill the old versions of yourself that no longer serve you. You'll need to hold a funeral for the persona you've carried for decades. You'll have to hear the cry of your shadow and embrace every part of who you are. On the other side, there's no blue sky or rainbow. There's a path. You'll walk it with wounded feet. You'll bleed a little more, but for the first time, every single step is truly yours. No one else is writing your story anymore. Breathe. Feel the sting of truth cutting through your throat. It hurts, but it purifies. Now you must choose. Will you return to your cell, or will you walk through the door and pay the price of owning yourself? Carl Jung gave you the map. I only held your hand to this point. From here on, it's just you and the echo of your soul, crying out to be free. You've made it this far. You read each word like someone uncovering a forbidden secret, maybe hoping for a quick cure, a formula, a fix for the fire in your chest. I'm sorry. There is no cure without loss, no freedom without symbolic death. You're no longer the same person who began listening to this voice in your mind. Carl Jung never promised salvation. He promised awareness. And awareness isn't light. It's heavy. It crushes. Because once you know, you can no longer blame the world. You can't lie to your reflection. You can't skim through life when it's asking you to dive deep. You were trained to escape. When pain knocks, you open the fridge. When anxiety screams, you play another show. When fear itches, you smile and say you're fine. You're not, but you could be if you're willing to keep descending. Because the psyche has no bottom. The unconscious is a pit that mocks your fear of heights. Are you ready to dig deeper? To return for the child you left crying in that dark room? To forgive the one who hurt you and the one you pretend you didn't hurt too? Being human is messy, contradictory, chaos. Freedom isn't about perfection. It's about being honest with your flaws. The one who lies to themselves creates monsters that feast on their chances. But the one who accepts themselves wholly finds the courage to unlock doors shut for generations. You carry ghosts from your parents, your grandparents, echoes that whisper through your mind like a wounded lineage calling out. Jung called it the collective unconscious. That's where the oldest part of you lives, and also the keys to who you might become. Maybe you ask, how do I get out of this? But let me ask you, who told you that you have to get out? You don't escape the abyss. You become part of it. You sink into it, all the way down. And instead of being destroyed, you gather strength from the same darkness that used to break you. From this point on, every decision has gravity. Every relationship reveals more than you're ready to see. Every dream brings messages your ego tries to erase. You won't sleep peacefully again. And that's okay. Too much peace is numbness. Disturbance means you're alive. Jung didn't want you happy like a butter commercial. He wanted you human. And that's much deeper. Beyond the abyss, what's left of you is wilder, more honest, more alone too. But it's a clean solitude with no lies, a fertile silence where your soul can finally speak. Listen, it doesn't shout, it whispers. In the sleepless nights, in the tear that slips from nowhere, in the quiet voice of intuition that tells you who stays, who leaves, and who never comes back. It's too late now to pretend. The maze has opened, and you've seen the Minotaur living inside your chest. If you want to sleep peacefully again, forget all of this. Pretend it was just another random video, another story that has nothing to do with you. Just another video, another story that doesn't belong to you. But if something inside you still burns, even now, then welcome. You've just been reborn, and no one can bury someone who has already learned to live with their own darkness. Now that you've walked through every shadowed hallway of your mind with me, breathe. Feel what was left behind, silent, buried deep in your chest. It might ache. That's how it is. It's the cost of being awake. Jung wouldn't take that pain away. And I can't either. But I can remind you of something almost no one says. You are not alone in this. You never were. As you listened, some forgotten, broken, hungry part of you began to wake up. It's going to make you uncomfortable. It'll ask for change. It will demand that you stop repeating old patterns. Listen to that part. Feed it with truth, with silence, with courage. From today forward, every pain that comes is not punishment. It's a sign that you refuse to keep living asleep. And that, my friend, is real freedom. You could have picked any shallow video with pretty lies to soothe your tired mind. But you stayed. You stayed until the end. I deeply respect anyone brave enough to face what hurts. Let me tell you something personal. I hid behind masks too. I betrayed myself. I feared opening the very door I've now helped you push wide open. It was lonely, but it was real. Thank you for sharing this immersion with me. May your soul never again settle for scraps of superficiality. May your shadow, now seen, no longer scream to be heard. And may the next time silence visits, you dare to sit beside it like an old friend. Now do this. Take a deep breath and prove you're not just another curious passerby. Let me know in the comments what part of you screamed the loudest during this video. Tell me without fear. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do so now, because I promise to continue whispering truths that few dare to speak. Share this video with whoever needs to hear it. Sometimes a whisper can ignite a light in the midst of the abyss. It's your choice. Ignore it all or dive right in. The decision is yours. From here, I remain in the darkness, waiting for you.